to say live. All right, and welcome everyone to another episode of the Kasanova Podcast. I'm your host, Mekel Kasanova. The Kasanova Podcast is the number one podcast in Hawaii, and I'm excited. I'm super excited. I have the honor and privilege of having the one, the only Amilia Onyx on the show. Amelia, go ahead.
Hi, guys. sorry. Hi, everyone. How are you guys? I'm really excited to be here. Thanks, Kasanova, for having me here.
Anytime. And go ahead, if you don't mind, let's do a little introduction and go ahead and plug, your social media outlets and whatever upcoming ventures you might have.
Awesome, cool. So my Twitter, and I only have a Twitter and Instagram for you guys to follow and keep up with my daily life or what I have coming up next on scenes. You can follow me on Twitter at Amilia Onyx, and on Instagram it's at amiliaonyxofficial. And right now I have a couple of scenes coming out. I'm really excited. I just did actually my first cut cold scene, and I'm really excited for that. And try to get more into like the whole fandom feel and stuff. So I have a cut cold scene coming out. I just filmed it I want to say last week. So it'll be a little bit, but keep out for that one.
Awesome. Definitely. Everyone, make sure you go over to your Instagram, her Twitter, and make sure you follow. The links are in the description below. So that being said, Amelia, can you give us a bit of a brief background on yourself? Like how did you get into the adult entertainment industry?
Okay, so right now I'm 19, but whenever I started porn, I was 18. I had just graduated high school. I am from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I kind of lived in the outskirts of Pittsburgh, not so much in Pittsburgh. But after graduating, I met a good friend, and he did porn, and he was like, hey, you'd do really great in porn. And I was like, you think? And it just I just sent out a portfolio up on I just Googled it, really, I seriously just Googled it, found some sources, and put myself out there, and I got contacted, and here I am.
Awesome. So what is it like working in the industry? I've always been curious about that, but you're the first person I get to ask, what's it like?
It's awesome. Honestly, it's really fun for me. Being a woman, it's really empowering.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it's the only industry where women get paid more.
Mm-hmm.
And also it's a lot more fun, and I really enjoy what I do. And I really can't say that about any other job that I've had or I have. And, it's just, I really enjoy porn because I get to meet new people, and I get to try new stuff sexually and physically, and it's just it's really challenging and boundary breaking for me. So I really enjoy that for growing as a person. Mm-hmm. And everyone's always how much do you make? And I try not to go into detail on how much I make, just because for me it's not really all about the money. I really just enjoy the experience. Mm-hmm. But I do make enough to support myself, being 19, and it really depends. I have a niche, I'm pale and I have tattoos, and I kind of have an alternative look, but I'm also a kind of a chameleon, so I could do different things with myself to make myself a different niche. But my biggest features is by my ass and my tits and my eyes. Those are the biggest niches that I have. Mm-hmm. I'm a very voluptuous girl, and a lot of people, they're in high demand for that now, because even though being skinny and blonde and this cute little preppy girl is still a thing, and that's what companies like to book, it's getting to the point where people like curves, people like big asses, and instead of having the big boobs. And even though having big boobs is amazing, people still, it's become more of a thing for butts. So, and for me, I have both, so I go for both. So really, depending on how you market yourself and how you promote yourself, your connections, you can do really well in this industry. Or if you just, ride it out and you don't try to do anything and you rely solely on, on, your agent or something, really not going to do that well. Because for me, relying solely on an agent isn't, it's just not, it's not smart. Because even though they do network you and they get you the work that is big, big mainstream work and stuff like that, it's not the best idea to do, simply because of the fact, like, you really just need to promote yourself in this kind of a situation. You need to be able to freelance and understand marketing and understand business and sales, and you need to be able to produce your own content because, like I told you earlier, even though everyone's like, porn is so big and it's becoming a new thing, and if you notice, the actual industry itself is dying. We don't make as much money as we used to because, things like Pornhub or tube sites, what they do is that's pirated porn. That is free porn, and that is what people work really hard to produce. There's a lot of scenes that go up, and it's like $25,000 just to produce and just to direct and to create. Can you imagine like making a $25,000 scene? And you're paying all these people, and all these people, they rely solely on this job, and another site is just stealing it and then making it free. So that's currently what we are going through, and we've been going through. It's just been getting a lot worse over the years now. And it sucks because I love shooting for companies, and I would like to continue. But if companies are just dying and it's not worth shooting with them anymore because it's just going to get exposed like that, honestly, it's not really worth it anymore. So a lot of girls are really relying on their own content. They're producing their own stuff. They're creating their own websites with themselves, because they are the market, like as a girl or as a male performer, like you are the market, like people want to watch you. And so a lot of people are just relying solely on just their own content now, which is kind of like where I'm going right now. It's just I'm relying on my own content. So, yeah.
And what's interesting is that that's very similar to like, with the movie and the whatchamacallit. Oh my Lord, I got a fire truck going by. My bad. I am so sorry about that. Anyway, so it's hey, we're completely organic on this podcast. Whatever happens, it happens. We roll with it.
Whatever happens, happens.
Exactly. But
it's casually dying. It's fine.
Hey, I think you need CPR. You know what? You'll be okay. You'll be okay. Yeah. But it's interesting because this same problem is happening within not only the movie industry but also the video game industry, where these websites, how like you got Xtube and Xvideo and Pornhub, you have sites like that, and within the game industry you've got like the emulation and the ROM sites, which are basically taking the work that people have worked really hard to create and just distributing it for free, so there's no residual income or royalties going to the people that create the content. And I can see the digital age right now is really hurting the porn industry and the adult film industry. So that sucks, man.
Yeah, it is really, the internet has done a lot for people, but at the same time, it's also taking a lot because a lot of things are more accessible, meaning that they're free, and you can just like a tap of a link or something. It's just boom, right there in your face. You don't have to pay anything. And what sucks is, in my personal opinion, I feel like this generation of, I don't want to say minors because it's illegal unless you're under 18 to watch porn, but even people like in my generation, like we still grew up watching porn, it's just, everyone grows up watching porn, and they grew up with Pornhub. Like I grew up with Pornhub. So even though I was, I didn't realize that it was a bad thing, people don't realize Pornhub is a bad thing. And it sucks because they just had their first, awards, and Kanye was there to promote it. And I was just so pissed because I didn't actually even go. I didn't want to support it. I was going to go, and then I got rejected at the door, which was really funny. I was just like, you know what? I don't want to be in support of this anyway. I'm just going to go home. And it's just the fact that people in this generation, they grew up with this free stuff They don't have to work, you know, to get it. They don't have to work to see it. It pisses all of us off because we work so hard in what we do. And yeah, even though we make checks and we make money from the scenes, we get flat rates, like whatever, you know, it's still, it's hard on us because whenever companies aren't making money, they can't pay us, you know, and whenever sites come out and they're like, hey, here's this free stuff, you don't even have to pay. But if you want to pay, then you can see more more stuff. And it's just like, it's not working for us, you know. You're making another niche off of something that we can't even sell for us, you know. And even though people, like, the only good thing about Pornhub is exposure. That is the only good thing for any porn person or mainstream person, whoever. Like, the only thing with them is exposure, you know. Like, if you have a good rank on Pornhub, like, that's unfortunately what directors and people are looking at now, is like your ranking on Pornhub. Like
what?
I know, and you have thousands and thousands of girls that have rankings on Pornhub, and I don't know if anyone knows this, but some probably do. There was originally a website called Free Ones, which is where all the directors and everyone would go to go check out everyone's rankings, and that's where everyone originally went. And you know, you check out the rankings on there because it's like they're a little off with their stuff and they rename the titles and stuff, but at the same time, that's where directors and producers and casters and, you know, whoever, that's where they went originally to look at rankings. And it was legit. Like, it was a legit place where girls promoted their free ones. And, you know, it's just recently where they stopped, and now they're like, go view my stuff. Like, you know, it's hard, you know, with these tube sites and with Pornhub just being like, yeah, here's free stuff, you know. And all these people, you know, that are young and they're coming into this into the world for Pornhub or tube sites where they get to do it for free, and we're not making money from it.
You know, and that actually makes me want to ask a question. Like, is it better to have like your own website? Because I noticed a trend where a lot of adult film actors or porn stars, they have like their own websites. But I kind of feel like even with that, it's still easy for someone to join the site, find a way to download the videos or the pictures, and then just re-upload it on like X2 or Xvideo or something like that. And it's like, how do you get around that? Like, it's
really it's just about having the right lawyers, honestly, because if you could catch people doing this, then I feel like people are going to do it. Like with the new screen recording on iPhones and stuff, that's really difficult to be like, you know what I mean? But at the same time, there's really no way of going around it anymore. People are just really way too tech savvy and really too smart. And the porn world is we're just not caught up on that.
And you guys need to get some IT folks. I mean, I'll help out.
I know. We need more tech savvy people for sure. But if I had to give out advice to a new porn girl, I would tell her, you know, stick to what you love. Don't lose yourself. Yes, the money is great, but your safety is even more important. So if you feel like, you know, someone's selling you short, then don't go with it. I mean, even if you're hurting for the money, you know, and they're like, hey, we need to do this, this, and this, and it's like all against what you want and what you want to be seen as and as your persona. Stick to your persona and enjoy it. Like, you know, if you have to get another job outside of porn, that's fine. Like, I have another job outside of porn. I actually have a couple jobs outside of porn. Because you can't rely solely on porn anymore. You know, you're not going to make as much money as you would in the 80s. You know, porn was boom in the 80s, and it's not. We're coming close to 2020, like 2019 and 2020, and, you know, it's just not the same anymore, you know? So I would tell her, you know, so stick to your civilian life and your porn life. Even though it's two different worlds, you still need to stay you, but also have your persona and make money off of that. Don't lose yourself, have fun, and stay motivated. You know, keep itching to become a better person and a better performer. People want to, like, for me, what sucks for me is like I've watched a lot of movies growing up, and I've supported like a lot of these actors that I thought that I loved, but it turns out they have a lot of issues, and they're very they have a lot of problems deep within themselves, and they get exposed for that, or they end up committing suicide or something. Like I know growing up, I watched a lot of Robin Williams. I loved his movies. He was a great actor, and he was such a sweet person. And he committed suicide, and I felt so like it just hurt me to see that these people are hurting, and it happens even in porn now. Like we just had, I want to say like 6 suicides in the past, in this past year, and it was just really heartbreaking to see that a lot of girls I looked up to, or even a lot of fans looked up to, and we cared for, they're sad, and they're focusing solely on porn. And you can be dedicated to porn, but also making sure that you are happy. So what a lot of girls are doing now is they're taking breaks. One of my really good friends, one of my roommates actually, she's such a sweetheart, but I did see that she was hurting, and she feels herself losing. She's like losing herself, and she's losing her mindset and her motivation to become better. And she was like, I just need a break. So anytime I feel like a girl just needs a break, or a male, or you're trans, like if you're in the adult industry and you're a sex worker, take a break. It's hard. It gets hard. If you're not mentally stable and you don't want to admit it, I mean, you can still stay within. I would recommend seeing a therapist or talking to someone for sure, because they help. Find the right one. They're not all for you. Just find the right one. Stick to your life. Make sure you're happy, you're healthy. Don't let porn stress you out. It's not worth it. Because what are you going to go down? Like, say if you were to die, like, boom, instant, like, just death. Like, what are people going to remember you as? What do you want people to remember you as? You got to think every day you could die. It's a gift to be alive every day. And it's wrong for you to sacrifice your happiness just for a couple people to get off,
Yeah,
that's my personal opinion.
That's true. I want to thank you for being on the show. Like this is a side I think a lot of people don't get to see, like the struggles of being in the industry. And I know this could apply to a lot of different industries, especially given we're in this digital world. But again, I want to thank you for sharing that with us here on the show.
Yeah, of course.
I know you spoke earlier about the whole process of having an agent, but like honestly, in this time, is there a point to having an agent, in the industry, or is it just better just doing everything on your own? Like you got to be your boss, your accountant, your your tax person.
Honestly, like it works for people. Like if there are really good agents and there are really bad agents, and then there's some in between. And it's really, you have to be able to you have to learn to do stuff yourself. You can't solely rely on an agent. They'll help you inch forward and brand your name and do all this great stuff, but at the same time, you still need to be able to learn how to promote for yourself, sell your own content, know what your brand is, and market yourself. Like you just need to be able to do all of that. And I've been in for over a year now, so I don't have like all the answers, to the successfulness of being in this industry. Like I said, I'm still hurting, and it sucks because I'm in that area right now where people aren't sure if I'm still selling or if I'm not selling. So people aren't like really booking me that much. And I also don't have like a supermodel body. I'm still like kind of alternative almost is what they call me. So because I don't have a supermodel body.
Really?
Sure. Yeah, I know it's pretty crazy. I know it's funny because people are like, no, you're so hot, they should sell you more. And I'm like, I feel confident now. But then like I get a lot of things where people are like, I just don't get booked. So I can't fully rely on whenever people tell me that I'm hot, because like I feel confident in my body and I love my body and I want more, but I want more for myself, So that's why I'm saying like you can't solely rely on an agent, because your agent isn't always going to know how to market you. Like my agent, for instance, like I love them. They've been really good to me. And but the girls that they market are very petite toned girls. You know, they're like, they have like really nice bodies on camera. And you have a couple that are like a little, you know, they're not like totally, you know, flat, you know, on the stomach or perfect ass or perfect tits, but that's fine. You know, that's them. You know, whenever you're in this industry, like, you're different and you're meant to be different. And a lot of times I'll talk to other people in the industry and like we'll talk and we'll be like, it's like a constant machine. You know, the industry is just like, we just need supermodels coming through, you know. It's weird, like, but now we're getting a little bit better with girls because we have Angela White. She's super beautiful. She's massive boobs and
she's thick. My lord,
she's a thick girl. Thick is like a new niche now, and it was a niche before, but it's like, it's booming right now, and I'm waiting for whenever it gets bigger and it's like a normalized thing. People and companies don't care that you have a couple rolls or you have a little bit of cellulite on the thighs or you don't have the perfect bubble butt. Like,
I'm gonna say this. You know, y'all need to come out here to Hawaii and whatnot, because we Polynesians, we love us some thick women. We don't like them twigs. You need something to hold on to. I'm just saying, them curves,
like,
curves is dangerous.
Yeah, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, not everyone likes a skinny petite girl. Nothing against skinny petite girls. Like, in my preference, I like girls. I emotionally and like I'm more attracted to girls. And I love skinny girls. And I like skinny girls because I am a thick girl. Like, I like skinny girls because I am a thick girl. So whenever it comes to me, I like girls and I'm much more of a dom person. So I just like girls that are more submissive looking. But men don't always like skinny girls. They like curvy girls. For me, my marketing is, I'm an average girl. I have an average body, but I do crazy shit. And I'm down for everything, you know? That's my marketing. And that's what I stick to. So whenever I first got in, they roll you through this this machine. They try to test new looks on you, and they're like, all right, for me it was, all right, we need you to grow your hair. You need to get tanner. You need to get toner and a little bit skinnier. Like, and I was like, I didn't get in porn to feel sorry for myself. You know, I got in porn because I wanted to become more confident in my body and love myself and gain the sexual experience. And I got booked, and I got booked because even though my body wasn't the machine way, you know, and that's fine. Like, that's good. That means that we're growing as an industry and we're becoming more open-minded. So it's funny, even though, you know, we have sex on camera and we do this crazy shit, we're not open-minded. We're really not. We're only open-minded sexually. Socially and physically, we are still from like the fucking 50s. It's ridiculous. Like, we still think everyone needs to have a flat stomach. Everyone needs to have a bubble butt. Everyone needs big boobs or perfect boobs or whatever it is. You know, like, people are just like, this is a machine. We need these. We need these girls. These girls. These are the girls we want to shoot.
Wow.
But now we're getting to the point where we're like, okay, tattoos is all right. Not too many tattoos, but tattoos are okay. And now we're like, all right, full sleeves look hot. Okay, yeah, but only on girls with flat stomachs and nice butts and boobs. Okay, maybe we'll give like a leeway to girls with like a little bit of rolls. All right, maybe, but we're gonna stick to that. And we're at that point right now where we're like, okay, like, for me, I'm working on a full sleeve and a half sleeve. Like, everyone who watches my content, like, I always get compliments on my tattoos, and I love my tattoos, and they all mean something to me. And I like to be recognized for my tattoos and my paleness and my body. And they're just like, oh, you're average looking, but you do great, and you're a great performer. That's what matters most. If you sell and you're in high demand, it should not matter what your body type looks like. It should not matter your skin. It should not matter anything. Like, and even the thing with racial profiling, it's ridiculous. Like, that was some shit from the fucking, like, 60s and 80s. Like, you don't need IR, interracial porn, to be a niche anymore. Like, it's dumb, you know? Like, it should just be like guys with huge cocks that are like the size of arms, because a lot of times I work with white guys and they have massive cocks. It doesn't matter, your skin tone, okay? It doesn't matter who you are, as long as you're happy doing what you do and you're selling and you're in demand. I personally think that is what companies should be booking off of. If your vibe on camera is as happy as you are to be shooting and you are selling and people love you, that's what should matter most. Because for me, I get maybe 1 or 2 shoots a month. And like, I would say maybe like 1 to 4 is like what I get. And I need like 4 to 6 to survive financially solely on porn. But it's not realistic to think that I'm going to survive solely on porn. At least for my state right now. And it's just wild to me. Like it's just, I just don't, sorry, I'm like talking too much, but I just
No, this is fine. Just, like I said, organic conversations. We go, if that's where we're going with it, I'm strapped in, I'm ready to go.
It's just, this is like, it's been a really big problem for me as I've been in the industry, and a lot of other girls that, they don't look like, supermodels, and they come from nothing, so they don't have the money to put forth in their appearance, and they rely on porn money to help better them, with wardrobe or with housing. We have bills to pay, and, we can't always just pay for, our nails to get done. Nails are expensive, especially in LA. Like I remember there was a point where I was making decent money, but I was getting my nails done. That's like nearly $60, every 2 weeks to get your nails done. That's 100 and I think like 40 or 20. Like it's over $100 every month to get your nails done and keep up with them. And that's really expensive. And girls can't keep up with that realistically.
Yeah.
So like, there's no way. But.
And we are really peeling back the layers here. I'm loving it. I love the organic conversation. The audience is loving it. Everyone, this is fun. Are you having a good time so far?
I'm having an amazing time. I really enjoyed it. It's
awesome.
Fun. I like talking about my industry and this industry in general. I like to expose it a little bit. People are really curious.
And that's one of the things like I wanted to ask, because I'm gonna just flow into this question. What do you think, or actually, why do you think there's such a negative view of women working in the industry? As me personally, I view it as a job like any other, and it's just something, if you enjoy it, you enjoy it. I don't personally feel that anyone in the industry should be judged for what they do. Like, what are your thoughts? What is it?
So
what do you think
my personal opinion, obviously I'm going to be slightly biased because I have gained, because I'm in it, but my personal opinion is because the I can't even talk right now. The traditionalism of society, and then the simplistic way of wanting to live. I think people are just like, they're not used to it. You know what I mean? Like people are like, okay, we need to be married to a man or to a woman, settle down, have children, and live a simple life until we die, and then we can go to heaven, like, or hell. Like, what are your 2 things? And anything, whenever it comes to, and because of the fact that we still have older people and older traditional views, and we have different ways of living and different lives and lifestyles. It's just the way women are viewed, even today, are still not as equals. We are not viewed to men as another man or as an equal. We are viewed as objects almost, or something like for every man or even some women, we look at other people as we're walking past them and we're like, yeah, they're good looking. I can tap that. And that's what, women are still viewed as, like something men could settle down with, and it's not okay. Like, we need to lose this spiteful way, because we don't, like, as a society, we don't need to solely rely on each other anymore. It was different in the during the recession or the Great Depression, but it's different now because people and women are able to grow as individuals and become independent and equals. It just hurts me whenever I see women who lower their standards and then settle down with someone who objectifies them and doesn't care for how they are or who they are, or they're just like, yeah, I'm going to pretend like I care and what you say, and like that's why people think women nag so much, you know. We have views, you know, and we are people, and even though we're walking and we look like people and stuff, we're not viewed as people. We're viewed as objects, you know, like something attractive to look at, you know, walking around. Like every woman has a different story. Every woman dresses different because they have a different lifestyle. Same thing as men. Men are much easier to comprehend because men still have this way of thinking about materialism. Men are like, all right, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to graduate high school. I'm going to go to college, and then I'm going to make lots of money. I'm going to fuck bitches, get money. Like, you know what I mean? And then they grow throughout life, and they learn different experiences. And by the time they're older, they have a traditional viewpoint. They're like, fuck, I should have done something else with myself, you know? Or I should have settled down with another girl. Like, that's just like a way of thinking. And don't get me wrong, I'm not hating on men. You know, like, we definitely need you guys. You guys have been a great part of society, but at the same time, you kind of fucking suck whenever it comes to, like, you know? Like, I just think that once we learn to view each other as equals and not as romantic pairs, then we'll learn to grow as an actual human race. That is my personal opinion on
that. So in a way, I mean, I agree with you in the sense that, you know, there needs to be equality between the sexes, and it seems like there are, you know, unspoken and sometimes spoken, you know, like roles that people want to just fit people within, like, oh, okay, you're a woman, you need to do this, or, you know, your skin color is this, you need to do that. And that is an unfortunate thing about our current society within, you know, not just the US but worldwide. You know, it's a human problem that definitely needs to be worked on, in my opinion.
Yeah, it is. In my like, okay, sorry, I didn't even answer your question. To go,
I thought you did.
a little bit. Oh, did I about why women are looked, you know,
I think we did. I don't know. The conversation was going. I was along for the ride. I was enjoying it. So
okay, you know what it was? You asked why women are looked down upon because they're in the industry. Okay, I think I did kind of answer that. So because we're objectified and men only want it for free, they, instead of having to pay for it, you know, they're like, oh yeah, you're selling your body and you're exposing your body. Yeah, like like we have to pay for it. No, don't want to do it. You know, so it's more of like a don't want to have to pay for it because we can get it for free kind of thing. And also religion, obviously, but I don't want to offend really anyone. So
speak your mind. You know, any flame can come towards me. Everyone, if you want to disagree with her opinion, if you want to throw some hate, throw it my way. Find me on Twitter at twitter.com/Mekel Kasanova. I have 0 fucks to give, so let her speak her mind. Amilia, take it away.
I honestly don't mind getting hate. I just ignore it. So if you do throw hate and shade at me, that's okay. Speak your mind. I'm just don't expect a response. Just expect like a block or something. I don't really care. But in my personal opinion, religion has been a thing that many people use because they don't, growing up, you were told, oh, like heaven and hell. And, you know, like that's just what everyone grows up learning in school, or, you know, like grow to family with church. And because we have traditional views, we also have traditional religion. So religion, in this case, it's adultery. And this is the adult industry. So we market, obviously, sex. And because you are not married, actually, most people in the industry are married. Fun fact. But because you are not married and you're exploiting yourself to other people who are also not married, and because you are having sex, it is a sin. And because this is a sin and you're committing adultery, it's like a whole circle of just hate and religion. But you're like fighting equality as human race and this like dying need of being like wanting to know afterlife. So it's just like a constant battle in my personal, like, honestly. And for women, it's more brought upon us because we are viewed and we are objectified, and we're viewed to be at home with children, cooking and cleaning, and just this constant cycle. But what people don't understand is we're not animals. We're like, and even for animals, I'll get into that later, but even for animals, we're not your pets. We're not something you can breed with and you can just reproduce constantly and constantly and constantly. You choose how many babies you want. You're like, oh, I didn't get a girl, but you went through 9 months of pain and, like that, that 2 hour, birth period and, ripping of your vagina and, they had to sew you and cut you up and just to get this little boy out. But I want a little girl now. So let's do it again. I'm going to put you through all of that pain again. Yeah, no, don't do that. Don't think that way. It's not okay. And that's, again, where I'm saying is, like, it's just this constant view of religion where women are objectified. And I remember once, if I remember correctly, there is a lot of points in the Bible where they are okay with rape. Like, they support and encourage rape. Like, and that's something that I had read and viewed and researched on a while ago. But I don't know if it's updated or not. But
no, I mean, there's a couple of religions that really believe that that's okay. I mean, you've got Islam, you've got, well, as far as not so much as rape for this religion, but as far as like women being second-rate groups, that would be probably Mormonism, or what are they now? Latter-day Saints. It's you can't call yourself a Mormon if you're a Mormon anymore, because their prophet decided to say that you are you're a Latter-day Saint. But it's the same principle. Women are to be stay at home. They're not supposed to work. They're supposed to just bear kids, and that is their life. And that's unfortunate, to me.
It is. It's very unfortunate, and it hurts me because I'm talking all this garbage on men, but women are like this too. Women they just go into it. They're like, oh, this is the life I'm supposed to have. All right, I'm gonna go with this life. And then for any independent woman that is like, well, I really enjoy sex. I enjoy being single. I enjoy having animals. Whether you're a cat or a dog mom, or you go out every night to the club, or you just stay home and you work. You're a businesswoman, or you don't need a man. You don't need a man. You just want to be alone, and you just want to make a difference and become an independent person. Women will either slut shame you, or they'll tell you, they'll constantly nag at you, like, hey, so, and these are family women usually that will do this, or they'll say, hey, so when are you gonna settle down, marry someone? You're like, I am settled down, and I'm here with my animals. I'm fine. Why? Like, why does this matter so much to you? Why do you need to involve yourself into my life? Like, you seem sad. And that's usually what it is also. It's like, family women are not they're not, exploiting that new world of being single and becoming older and growing older by yourself. It scares people, and it scares women, women, because we're not as strong as men, like we need a man in our lives, and we need someone to make money for us. And, it's just like, as a 19-year-old, it's like, for me, I was exposed to this at a very young age, and growing up with, my family being, religious based, and it was just very eye-opening whenever I finally, started exploiting and being open-minded with myself, and even as like a human, it just, it was so mind-blowing to me that this has been a constant. It's almost like a machine, like I said for porn. It's like a constant machine. Like, women are being produced, and then they're set to work at factories. like here, you're set with this guy. You can be with him, I guess. Like, you got to lower your standards, girl. You're not, A1 yourself. You know what I mean? And it's hard for a woman because it's hard, like these traditional views of constantly being viewed as this, just this robot and this animal and this pet. It's hard because now we don't have, we didn't have the choice in the lives that we were given, and they just were like, here, you do this. This is your role. Because you were born this way, you were born with this gender, this is your role in this world, and it's not a good role. We don't like it. We never did. some women do, but that's because they're,
conditioned to like it.
yeah. If you're a people pleaser as a woman, it's even harder to accept the fact that you can become more and you can do more with yourself.
And especially like one of the things that I see with a lot of women when it comes to religion, especially the ones that want to explore like life and their sexuality, their beliefs, they even with their body, they want to get tattoos or piercings. A lot of these religions, they do so much shaming. It's
Oh
it's
yeah.
it's so disgusting. Like some of the stuff I've seen, like I know a lot of women that have gone through that, and then they'll become this. It's almost like they went, they got indoctrinated or something, and then they come back and they're just like plain Jane, smiling, and they say, "Oh, everything is perfect," and then you can see the cracks in that mentality. Like they want to get out, but they can't. They're stuck in it.
It's like you're being brainwashed
Yeah.
to just become like what it is. You're being trained like an animal.
Yeah, it's
Looking at
really
my cat right now. I feel so bad. It's so weird because even like my view with animals, like I just want like for all animals to just be free and do their own thing and live their own lives, but I know that they wouldn't be able to survive.
Yeah, I mean, well, kind of, somewhat, because you do have the natural role of nature. Like it was there in effect before we humans came into place. In some places, it's still, without us tampering with it, I think it's doing well. But there does need to be a sense of equality and true freedom without people feeling like that they have to fit into certain roles and they have to do certain things or they have to please certain people. And a lot of people, and I can speak on this, from a guy's perspective. I used to be a very meek and not shallow. I was gonna say timid, not shallow. I don't know why shallow was the first thing that came to mind. I guess I'm shallow. Mekel Casanova is shallow, people. Hey, newsflash. Anyway, but I used to be a very timid, person and a people pleaser. And then I got to a point after being fucked over constantly and used by folks. I just got to the point where I am now. I'm like, man, fuck it. I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm not afraid of failure or success. If I fail, hey, I failed. At least I tried. And I'm living life the way I want to live it, because when I die, and I think it's because of my brush with cancer and nearly dying of it 2.5 years ago, I promised myself that the next time I'm on the verge of dying or I'm at my deathbed, I will be at that point where I have done everything I want to do in life. No one's going to hold me back. And I'm just going to be like, hey, this is a life I lived. I'm satisfied. I'm going to do it. Whatever you think, I don't fucking care. And I run into so many people that are so afraid to do what they want to do or think what they want to think or say what they want to say because of being afraid of offending someone. I'm like, you can't accomplish or push to have change without being willing to be offensive. If who you are is offensive, it is what it is,
Yeah, I totally agree. Like for me, even on the subject of getting offended, people who get offended, they're like, in my personal opinion, they're just so closed-minded that whenever it comes to you offending them, they just can't own up to something. So and it's really hard to work with.
Yeah.
On a stance, because a lot of people I work with are very sensitive people, or they'll get offended because they'll be like in their 20s or in their 30s or even in their 40s, and here I am as a 19-year-old doing what I love, and I have, like that opportunity to do more than they did, growing up, or, I'm much more mature for my age than they were, and then they hate, and then they try to self-relate, and I'm just like, you can't do that. You can't tell me I'm doing good and then try to break me down because you have more than I do. I have equally more or just as much as you do, but I'm 19. My education is higher. You can't just hate on me and be like, oh, a 19-year-old taught me this. Like, I can't take this seriously. You can't take me seriously on something I agree with you with, and then I tell you, you're wrong on something and then just hate on me because you're like, oh, you're too young, you don't understand. Like, how was I older enough to understand what I just agreed with you on then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In other words, people, put some respect on Amelia's name when it comes out of your mouth. Just saying, put some respect on it, like Birdman would say.
I'm like, it's so funny. I'm like, you can't just talk down to me because I'm like 19. Like, I'm smart.
Right? And I'm 30. I just turned 30, and I know a lot of people my age and older that don't know shit. So age and education and wisdom, it comes from personal choice. Because some people I feel are just decidedly and purposefully stupid by choice.
Oh my god. Like, for sure. And I live in LA, so I get a lot of that.
What is it like in LA? Like, I go there every other month for work, but I really don't get to do anything.
Weird. Because, okay, so I'm from originally, like I said, the East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
Coming out to the West Coast, it was just such a culture shock.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't have as much diversity in Pennsylvania as the West Coast does. And
I have to interrupt and ask you, did you live in like an area called Levittown? Because I lived there for a couple months.
You
Back
said
in
Levittown?
Levittown?
Like in Pennsylvania?
Yeah.
No, I actually Levitt, like Levitt.
TT, yeah. I lived there with when I was.
It.
What is it?
Yeah, I think I feel like I've heard of it, but I've never lived there. I lived, like I said, like right on the outskirts of Pittsburgh.
Oh, okay. Because there's no diversity in Levittown.
Yeah. Yeah. And like where I lived, like there is obviously more diversity whenever you got closer to the city.
Mm-hmm.
But we still only had like the four top, like foremost like races, I guess you could say. It's like predominantly white, and then there's blacks, and then Indians and Asians.
Mm-hmm.
But out here, it's predominantly Mexican, and I've never and I'm in way no whatsoever like racist at all, but I go based off statistics. So out here it's predominantly Mexican, and then you also have your Armenians and your Persians, and there's obviously whites and blacks, and then you have your mixes, and I've just never met so many different cultures before. But I always see the same thing in every culture. So it's just like it's hard to like get a feel on everyone. So moving out here, it was just really different because not only the culture but also the driving. Oh my lord.
How are LA drivers?
They're terrible. I feel like they just became these godless money, and they were like, here, take my money, like give me my license so I can go on the road and just rage. Like it's just so awful. Like in Pennsylvania, it is unknown for you to not use your blinker. There is a legitimate, like, almost I feel like a law against it. Like you must use your blinker, and if you don't, we have very strict police. They will pull you over, force you to use a blinker. That is dangerous. Here, cops don't even use their blinkers. Like it's insane to me. I'm like, you people are dangerous, and I just like a witch, like in my car, just like, oh my lord, like it's just crazy to me. But like there's a lot of times where people have cut me off while I'm on like the 405 and the 101, and people will cut me off, and I'm like, you didn't use a blinker. And there's a lot of times I have like really bad road rage where if someone tries to get in and they're not using their blinker, I will move forward even more so they cannot get in.
You do not seem like you have road rage.
I have terrible road rage. I will legit cuss at someone through my car. I'm not aggressive, but I have flipped someone off before, and it turns out she was an older lady. I felt bad, but not bad. Like she legit I can't remember what was going on, but she was just being a total asshole.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like riding my ass, and you know what happened? She was riding my ass, okay, and I was turning left. Well, when you're turning left, you have to wait for oncoming traffic to pass through until you have a leeway to then turn left. Am I correct? Like, she was laying on her horn whenever I could not turn left. I just turned around, and I was like, fuck you, and I just threw my finger up at her, realizing she was an older lady. And I was like, listen, I don't care how old you are. If you don't know how to fucking drive, fuck off. Like, I was like, you cannot lay your horn on me because I don't want to go into oncoming traffic.
Oh my goodness.
Everyone's always on a rush here. Like, and I can't be mad because everyone's on a rush because everyone is always late. It's just like everyone procrastinates to get to where they need on time, and you have to, like, if you're driving like a half an hour to an hour somewhere during rush hour, you better give yourself like an hour or an hour and a half, like, in advance, like, because you're going to be waiting for a while, because then people get in crashes, and then that's like another half an hour to a 40-minute wait, and it's just so ridiculous to me. And the other thing is, I also noticed while driving out here is motorcyclists can weave in and out of traffic. They can't just stay behind a car. They can weave in and out of traffic. I don't remember people doing that in Pennsylvania. Like, your motorcycle is treated like a car. You cannot just weave in and out of traffic. It's like, at least it's illegal. So that's just like also a really large thing, because there was times where I would be going to turn into like a different lane, and a motorcycle would just pop up right next to me and just drive really fast. And I'm like, dude, that is so dangerous. Like, I don't hear them until they're next to my window, and I'm like wanting to turn. Like, it's just dangerous.
You know, if you ever do come out here to Oahu, to like Honolulu, you're gonna hate this one. Okay, so we've basically got three freeways. So there's H1, H2, and H3. If you're going to like Kaneohe or like up north, there's only one way in. Well, one way in, about two ways out. But if you're coming from like the west side or up north, and you're trying to get to like town, like Honolulu area, going to like Waikiki or anything, and it sucks for me, especially when I get off work, and because I live right next to Waikiki. So there's the H1 going east, which is heading to Waikiki. This thing basically backs up from the turnoff to get to Waikiki all the way back to where the airport is. And it's like, if you were driving with no traffic, it'd probably take you about 8 minutes at most coming from the airport to get to Waikiki with no traffic. With this one turnoff, and it's because people can't fucking merge and they don't use their signal. If you like between 3:30 and 6:30, if you were to try and get on the H1 and go east in heading towards Waikiki, I don't care where you're coming from, you're going to be sitting in traffic for 3 hours because people can't merge. It's that bad. I'm like, you're telling me how bad LA folks are? I'm like, that's bad. You would hate it out here for that one, and it's that one turn. Once you pass that turn, there's no traffic.
That's how we are. Like, as soon as it comes to merging, people just don't understand the common decency of, one, using your signal, and two, you can't just like block the merging lane. Like, I remember I was in the car with one of my friends, and I was driving in the merging lane, and I wouldn't let this person go because they were using their signal. And he was like, listen, you know that's technically illegal, right? And I was like, what are you talking about? He goes, you can't just be mad at someone. They're in the merging lane. You're driving illegally in it. Like, you need to go on the next lane over so you can let them pass through. And I was like, I didn't think about this. So now, anytime it's merging, unless I need to get off to the next ramp, I stay far to the left because that is all the traffic. It's crazy.
That is insane. Oh my goodness. How are people in LA? I've not got to interact with a lot of people there, but
it's really weird because my first day, I had like a 40-year-old man. Either 40 or he was homeless and in his like early 30s. I don't know. But he was like standing outside of a Ralph store. It was my first day. Like I just landed in like the day prior into LA, like that morning, and then the next day I go to the grocery store with two other girls that are also in the industry, and we all three go into this store, and there's a man standing outside of this Ralph's, and as we're walking in, he kind of says something to me, and he said, "Hey, beautiful," and I just looked at him and I walked in because I'm not a fan of catcalling. Like I said, objectifying. It's not okay. Don't do it. We don't want your comments. Like, so I walk in the store and I'm like, I got over it. I was like, whatever, this is weird already. It's my first day here, okay? And he kind of looked like a Jersey Shore kind of guy. Like he was wearing like a red tank top, some shorts, really dark, weird goatee looking thing. And, I'm walking around the store and I have my cart and I'm like close to the front door that he was at. And I see him walk in and just come up to me and he goes, you really are beautiful. You know that, you're so beautiful. And he's just like, you're so gorgeous. And like, he's just complimenting me and receiving like continuously. And I'm just like looking at him like, yeah, dude, I get it. Like, please just stop. Like, I'm literally 18 and you're like 30. Even though I don't really have like weirdness for ages, I just don't appreciate you being your age and still doing this. You know what I mean? And then I just walked away, just ignored him. I was like, all right, bye. And I walked away. And then, so I paid for my groceries and me and my friends, we were like, is he just come up to you again? And I was like, I have no idea why he continuously is coming up to me. So as we're walking out to the car, which we were very close to the door, I see him approach me again. So he comes up to me, approaches me. I'm so serious. This man was relentless. So he approaches me again, and he complimented me. He goes, "Hey, beautiful. Like, I'm sorry to bother you, but I really..." And I was like, "You need to eat." Because he was skinny, and I was like, "You need to eat yourself. Why don't you use that money to feed yourself?" And I just looked at him and I just like, I was really polite and I just said, no, like, no, thank you. I don't have time. Thank you for the offer though. And I just like, he goes, okay, sorry, didn't mean to bother you. And even though he was polite, he wasn't like, oh, fine, bitch, like you're ugly anyways, which guys do. I promise you guys do that. He didn't do that, which was nice, but he could have just left me alone.
Yeah.
He could have just not said anything, kept it to himself, and, just not preceded me 3 times. Like, that is ridiculous to me. And that was my first time, my first experience being in LA. And I get it a lot. So that is why I stay inside a lot.
Wow.
Yeah. So people out here, they're very outspoken or they're very judgmental. And something I've noticed a lot with different cultures is they are very traditional people. The younger generations are the people that are very open-minded. They're like, oh, that's awesome what you do. But if I were to tell like a family member or like, let's say traditional, like a traditional Mexican, let's just say a traditional Mexican, if one of them were to find out, they would probably want to baptize me and save me right there on the spot.
That's like, the same with Polynesian culture. We're the same.
It's like with every culture that I find out here, is they're still very traditional religious people. They have different like ways of religion, but they're still all the same. They still all view what I do or who I am or the same. Like they don't like tattoos. They don't like the fact that like I am voluptuous but at an early age, and I'm independent, and I don't have a man, and I don't need, like, this is all cultures. It's just different cultures as men view women differently. They all view women the same as an object and as a wife and as a birthing like a breeding tool almost, but they're still all very dominant and rude to their women. Like I've worked with Armenians before, and this is one of my first actual contacts with Armenians. And I'm really excited. I love, they're very beautiful, and I love their accents. And meeting these men disgusted me. I was just so disgusted in how they treated me as a woman. I asked one of the men a question, and he just waved me off, or he'd ignored me, and I was just astonished. I was like, is this actually happening? And as the woman I am, I shoved whatever I had in my hand, because I had asked him a question, did you want this or this? And he just ignored me, and I got up in his face, and I shoved it in his face, and I was like, did you want this or this? Wow. And all the other Armenians looked at me does she not know her place in this world? And I just looked at them, and I was like, listen, I'm a person, and the fact that you guys are so closed-minded and treat women the way you are, you don't deserve to be treated any differently, you know? So that's my view on that. This has so far been my experience. But a lot of times, the younger generations, they're very sweet people. I've met very sweet elderly people too. I've met some actors and music people, and people are so much more open-minded, as well as they are closed-minded. I've met so many wonderful people where I'll tell them what I do, or I'll go on dates or something like that. I went through when I first came out here. I just recently stopped dating, but whenever I was dating, a lot of people, I would tell them right off the bat what I do. I would ask them what they do to get a feel on how they are, their work ethic, how they are as people, and then I would tell them what I do. And they'd be like, oh, okay, that's really cool. And they would ask me questions about the industry, and then I would feel them get kind of insecure as we progressed into our conversation and what I do, because then I felt that they were almost inferior to the men that I work with. In all reality, they shouldn't.
So is it they don't view that they are because that's odd. They shouldn't feel inferior, because I mean that's a job, Oh, hello.
Hi, sorry. My roommate's calling me, and it actually just went through my phone.
Oh, no worries.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, everyone.
No. I was going to ask, is it, for them, that whole feeling of inferiority, they don't understand that there's a separation between what you do for a profession versus who you are. Personally, they don't understand that there's a separation between that.
What do you mean exactly?
How you're saying they feel inferior as the conversation went on or whatever. I don't.
Yeah, they just get less and less confident. They feel it's because it's at first it's really exciting to be talking to a porn star, but then they get really awkward, and they're just oh well, my dick is that big, and then they get really insecure about sex because they ask me what I've done, and I tell them I'm very open, very open about what I do and what I how I do it and stuff like that, and they start to get more insecure. So it's just dating for me is never it's very hard.
All right, I'm gonna speak to the men out there. Y'all need to stop feeling insecure. If you are good at what you do, then be proud of that. Don't ever compare yourself to someone else. I mean, hell, I view myself, hey, if whoever I've dated or been with, if they've had someone that's had a bigger dick or been better, hey, that's cool. You've had that experience, but there's only one Mekel Kasanova. You gonna remember that. That's that's my opinion.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I want to ask also, what do you think are the most common misconceptions about the adult film industry that the public always gets wrong and the mainstream media also gets wrong or misconstrues?
I think it's always very interesting that they think that we have all these STDs. Like there's a lot of people that find that we're very dirty people.
Mm-hmm.
And we get tested every 14 days. We have to work.
Oh, wow.
They think that all we do is go out and party and we do drugs. We don't. A lot of us stay home with our animals
Mm-hmm.
and we work. You know, we become very business professional, and I can't hate on people who think this way because that's how we were in the 80s. You know, that's how the porn industry was in the 80s. But most of us are very business professional now, and we want more for ourselves than to go out and get high and just party. Like there are people still like this, but there are bad apples in every industry.
Yeah.
It's not us. It's not always us. You know, I would look at that more as mainstream or music than porn.
Yep, definitely in the music industry. I came from it. I know what it's like.
Yeah, like you would see more drugs and, you know, overdoses and mainstream and in music than you would see in porn. But that's pretty much that.
Okay. Well, winding down to our last couple questions. I don't want to keep you too long, but my next question is, so what are some of the steps or the processes that go into like a scene that you're in? And is it like all in one take or is it multiple takes
It
combined?
really depends. Okay, so say for an average boy-girl scenes. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
let's do this. Let's say if I'm shooting for browsers. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
that is a full day that I would be shooting for browsers because that's usually about an 8-hour day,
Mm-hmm.
8 to like 10-hour day, because what happens is we get on set, let's say early morning, like 11 o'clock. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And my browser scene with Kieran Lee. I'll just use that as an example. So my browser scene with Kieran Lee, I got there around like 11:30.
Mm-hmm.
They do paperwork with you. So you're going to go over paperwork, sign all your documents, get your photo IDs, documentation.
Mm-hmm.
Then you go into makeup. Makeup and hair is about an hour and a half, 2 hours, because the
Mm-hmm.
makeup artist has never done your face before. She
Mm-hmm.
needs to know what looks good on you, what doesn't, how to work with your skin, what you want to do with your hair. That takes about an hour to 2 hours, depending on the girl.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it took about, I'd say like an hour and a half because my hair was short.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're moving along into wardrobe. Wardrobe is about a half an hour. You're choosing what you need to wear. Then you go over boundaries with your talent, you know, your yeses and your nos, and what you can and can't do. And then, but for my scene, it was very light, you know, just very vanilla stuff. It's nothing crazy. So we really didn't have to go over anything too crazy. And then we do stills, what, you know, the nudes that we take and the pictures and the photography. So we go into stills. First we go into pretty girls, which is the girl all dressed up very lovely and she looks very pretty in her wardrobe.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, we go from wardrobe stills into naked stills. Each are about, I would say it's about 20 minutes long to go with pretty girls. And then we do action stills either before or during the scene is taking place, or the company will take them out for after the finished product. So then we'll get everything gathered up together. They'll set up lighting and cameras. They'll get their microphones and everything set up so we got the perfect sound, the perfect lighting.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, my throat's all fucked.
No worries.
And then we go over the actual scene. My scene was very dialogued. I had to say the right line at the right moment, the right time, and to make the right expression. It's literally just acting.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed that scene. I loved working with Kieran, but it is acting. This is a fantasy, you know, cinematic fantasy is what I call it. You know, that's just what it is, you know? And so we go over dialogue. We make sure that we're both okay. Then right before we start doing the scene, I go clean myself. I make sure that everything is okay. I'll douche and I'll use baby wipes. And if I need to clean anything up beforehand, like if I need my makeup or my hair retouched, or if I need to, or say if I need to like shave a couple more hairs or something, like you just do that. You'll clean yourself up. Then you go back in. Then you'll do the intro of the scene. For me, it was dialogue. So first, like you go straight into acting. And then we do cuts and retakes, and we make sure everything is perfectly aligned, because that's what they're paying me for. They're paying me for a perfectly aligned and good scene. So, yeah. And then whenever you end, you get showered, you get cleaned up, then you get paid, then you pack up, then you leave, and you go home, and then you just sleep for like 2 days. So, yeah, that's pretty much what most scenes are like. You just get there, you do your papers, you do your makeup, then you go over pictures, and you do the scene, and then you do after pictures, and boom, you're done. But a small scene is even like 4 to 5, like I'd say like 4 to 6 hours. Full day is like 6 to 10. Or 8 to 10. My bad. Sorry.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So we have very long days on set.
Oh, so like for you, I mean, do you prefer like the high production, like movie style adult films, or the more organic, non-fantasy style? That
For me, if I could choose an in between, I would. But I really enjoy organic style porn just as much as everyone else does. For the sake of, I really enjoy it experience wise. They pay a little bit less, but that's okay, because you're still getting paid almost your full rate, and like it's the people are much more fun to work with, I would say. Like working with higher people, like higher companies such as Brazzers or Digital Playground, they're like they're fun people to work with, but they're very businessy and professional. Like they're not very complimenty. Like they don't make you feel as sexy as an organic set would. They're like, okay, you're here, let's get this work done, let's get this done, like boom. You show up in an organic place, they're like, wow, you look so pretty, you look amazing, like you look great, we love your hair, we love your makeup, your body's fantastic, we're so happy we're shooting you today. They don't make you feel like you're just another girl on their set. They make you feel much more special, and you feel much more confident about yourself in the scene. And then it's just, I much more prefer working with organic, because they're easier to work with as people. They're not like robots, and they treat you like, I'm not saying big companies don't treat you that way. There are some that do that, but not all of them do that. Most of them, they're just like, you get there, you do what you need to do, and it's job, boom, done. But smaller companies, they really enjoy the personal interaction and stuff. So it's much more fun.
Okay. So, and this is another question that actually I got this question on Facebook that someone wanted me to ask. But so, how much of what you see in adult films is real? As in, for like women, do they actually have orgasms during scenes, or is it more scripted?
Okay. This is a very obviously most of it is staged. But if you watch the right performer, and how do I say this? Okay. So it really depends on which scene you're watching of this performer. Because as per se for myself, I can only really, really come if I have a very specific male talent and I have a vibrator.
Okay.
Like I can't just come from penetration. It's not really, no, I'm very clit stimulation. I need a lot of clit stimulation to come, to have like an actual orgasm. But I don't look pretty orgasming. Like I need to, like, even then I still need to act that I'm pretty through it, because then I just can't breathe, and then my face will turn red, and you won't see anything pretty there. And so a lot of time they're like, we need you to hype it up a little bit. Like obviously you can come if you want to. Like everyone wants you to come. They want you. It's better for this camera, but a lot of girls feel uncomfortable almost coming. You know, like it's because they don't feel pretty while they're coming. Or we can't come on command like men can. You know, it's harder. Like the men in our industry, they're able once they train themselves, they can come on command. And, you know, but you don't have to look at their faces. You just look at the cum shooting on the girl. Even then, you know?
Yeah.
For girls, it's not always necessary for the girl to come during a scene. It's more just the sex and the positions and the angles more than the actual girl coming. So it's most girls, we fake it.
Okay.
There's a lot of girls that actually do come because they know how to make themselves come in a situation like that.
Is there like a taboo for men, like for certain scenes, or like, let's see, how should I ask this question? I'm not sure how to ask this question. I guess it's, fuck it. I'll just say for men coming, like on certain scenes, like, do they want the men to come on like a skeet shoot, or do they want them, is it taboo for guys to come in the woman, or is it based on whatever scene they're shooting?
No, it's honestly, it's however the both talents want the guy to come. There are some scenes where I'll get booked and they're like, it's a facial scene, or it's a cream pie scene, you know? Like some scenes are very specific on how they want the cum shot. But a lot of times it's not taboo for a guy to come inside of a girl or to come on her face. It's really normal. And for me personally, I prefer facials or swallow scenes because those are my favorite. That's what I do in my personal life. So that's just what I do naturally on camera as well. But some people, they're like, yeah, let's do cream pies. And I only recently just started taking birth control. So anytime I had a cream pie scene, I'd had to go to the store, buy a Plan B that's like $60. And, you know, I'm not really getting funded for that, you know? So it comes out of my paycheck. And so, sorry. But yeah, no, it's definitely not taboo for the way a guy to come on camera. Unless, you know, it's for pure taboo and they're like kicking the guy in the balls or, you know, something like that. And he comes from that. That's taboo.
Whoa.
Yes.
All right. All right. So I guess my last question about the industry is, since you've gotten to work with different production companies and other adult film stars, what are they like, and what are some of your favorites to work with or adult film stars that you look up to or like? Whenever I first started, I knew little to no names of my favorite idols. I just knew their faces and what they look like. But then whenever I met them, they were kind of what I expected, but not. You know, I expected them to be very sexual, which, yes, I got that out of them. Because in most situations that I met them, you know, it was a sexual orientation right there. But their personalities and then their reputation, it just kind of killed it for me. And then whenever it actually came to befriending them, I realized that they're not very reliable people. Or they just didn't seem like, a lot of people are all talk in a lot of industries. I found out like they want to be this person, but they don't work towards to be that person that they want to be. So they're not very motivated people. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Makes sense. Yeah, I've run into that a lot in the music industry, especially being like a content creator and YouTuber. I can't drop names because I don't want to blacklist myself. But
I don't want to like hurt people. I don't want to have people coming after me.
Yeah,
So.
I know what you mean. I understand what you mean. I guess the last couple questions I have, we're gonna shift gears to some other stuff. Now, I heard, or I know, you like video games.
I love video games. I've been gaming all my life.
What are some of your favorite video games that you like to play, or ones that have always stood out to you?
So growing up, I played a lot of PlayStation. So I'm a very PlayStation-based girl. I have a PS4, so I'm very limited to obviously the PlayStation video games.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of what I played was obviously older games. I played like a lot of obviously Call of Duties.
Mm-hmm.
I played the zombies. I still play Call of Duty Zombies. I grew up playing Mortal Kombat, Guitar Hero. I played the Crash of Bandicoot. I played Ratchet and Clank. like it's everywhere. But I also played Resident Evil, and like I just played everything. And the reason why is I had this experience growing up is because I had two brothers that loved gaming. And growing up, we weren't sports and like oriented children growing up, but we didn't have the money to like pay hundreds of dollars for equipment just to play baseball or something, So we invested our time and money into playing video games and being outside. Like we loved being outside, but we loved video games too. So we would be outside all day, until sunset, until it was time to come inside. But then whenever we came inside, we played video games. So or on the weekends we would do both. I tried to juggle both a lot. And video games were just like one of my favorite things because I have ADD. I'm not diagnosed, but I know for sure that I have it because I cannot stay on one thing for very long. Like I can't watch movies because I get bored. I want to be in it. I get mad at them. I'm like, listen, y'all are being stupid. You need to do something else, So playing video games, I have that chance to move my character and make sure that they're doing what I want them to do. I'm kind of a control freak too. So to have full control over what I can do is what I want to be able to do. So a lot of video games that I play now are freelance. So I play like a lot of Call of Duty games because they have that main mission, but you still have that freelance, choice. And then I play I've beat Fallout 4 twice. I want to get the new Fallout 76. I'm really so excited for this game. I play Mortal Kombat.
I have a contact for you because I'm reviewing it currently. I'll shoot you the contact.
Oh my god, yes, please. So a lot of so there's that. So Minecraft is a really good game. I played that a lot in middle school whenever it got really big. I haven't played Minecraft in a while, but I still play it here and there. Fortnite, everyone's like, oh, I love Fortnite. It's great. It's great. I think it's too complicated.
It is.
It's way too complicated. Like everyone's like, it's easy. I'm like, no, they put high level members with low level members. Then you die. And when you die, you have to watch for the rest of the game. And it's stupid. And they have this building structure bullshit. Like, why do you have to build? You know what I mean? Like, I can't hate on the game because it's got very popular and it's free. That's awesome. People who are able to do what they do, like I love their content. I love the gaming YouTubers that play it because they're so funny. They do really funny stuff. And I love the dances. But it's not for me. I think I'd be more of like a PUBG girl.
PUBG. I'm team PUBG over here.
Oh, are you? Yeah, yes. I think I'd be more of a PUBG girl if I were to actually get into that kind of gameplay. It's just so free for all. It's like it's fun, but at the same time, like it's complicated. So I prefer more of the Call of Duty games and like Modern Warfare and stuff. For sure.
Definitely. I think it would be great as a game reviewer.
I think that's why I used to stream on Twitch. I will probably do it like again in the future. It's like it's not like I'm done streaming. You know what I mean? It's just more of I don't have time and the commitment and the the science behind it. I'm not like totally knowledgeable on it. But whenever I did stream, I streamed a lot of I like to review games and stuff. Like, but I'd always get mad. Like, I buy games I actually wanted to play, and then I feel like because I had to talk to the people, I couldn't multitask while I did that. I'm more of like a rager. So if people wanted, let's say I'm reviewing. I used to review The Evil Within. I think was the first one, and I was very disappointed in the game setup. I was very excited to play the game, but disappointed in the actual game itself. There's no freelance. You have to play strictly by the story mode. And if you make one wrong move or you didn't do something, then you couldn't move on to a next thing. And I didn't like that. So while I was reviewing the game, I talked a lot about, well, the graphics aren't really that good to put off on the first part. Maybe the characters looked really cool, but whenever it came to the actual environment of the game, they were pretty shitty. And then I don't know if their second one's any better, but the first one I was very disappointed in.
It's not.
It's not.
It's not.
I paid a lot of money for it too, which is really sad. Like, that's a lot of things also. Is like, a lot of my fans, they don't really buy me games. I've only had one fan buy me a game, and that was the greatest thing. I was very appreciative of it. But I bought everything else myself. I bought my own PS4. I bought my own video games. Like, I bought my own TV, my own cams, everything. Like, I buy everything myself. So it's like a huge responsibility to put money into something whenever you get disappointed in it, and then you're just like, wow, this sucks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I have a pretty decent following on Twitch, but it's not like I don't really go on it anymore. Yeah. It was just complicated.
Well, you have a tech friend out here in Hawaii, so if you ever need help, I can help you with that.
That would be amazing. Maybe I'll start streaming again. Because like, it was fun. I liked talking to the people, but at the same time, it was very complicated to talk to them and then also play video games.
I have that same problem because like when I stream, like I've tried streaming a lot of different games, but I always come back to just streaming Street Fighter just because I grew up in arcades, like being on milk crates playing Street Fighter. And so it's like when I play Street Fighter, like a lot of people want me to talk and I can see the chat going. I'm like, I can't, I'm concentrating.
Street Fighter is so hard. You cannot lose your conscience on it. Like, it's seeming like I have yet to stream Mortal Kombat. I should probably do that. But I was playing Mortal Kombat, and that was like, I can't talk to people. Like, I get so mad and so focused. I just need to be all 100% there with Mortal Kombat.
Well, hey, that's cool. It's awesome knowing that you're a gamer too. I really like that, there's more females that are getting into gaming and coming out as gamers. Like that's amazing. That's changing the industry in my opinion.
Yeah, because what happened is there's a lot of women because first it went back to dark side. Okay.
Go for it.
Socially, what had happened was because all the women went from once they got, equal rights and, started voting, a lot of women became independent. And then once they became more independent, they were a lot more free with their bodies. They were just like, okay, I'm going to hook up with this guy then. And then that's what happened in like the 80s and the 90s is a lot of women, they started, having a lot of babies and, but they'd be single moms. So that's what happened with me. My mom, she had me at a very young age. And whenever she had me, she raised me and my brothers, singly. So being a single mom, she was, she couldn't take time for herself as, to prepare for herself, to go out and look nice all the time. So she was very tomboyish. Like even growing up, she's very tomboyish. So growing up, I grew up, like almost like a boy. Like she treated me like a little differently, but the same as my boys. She just always like all as equals because she loved all of us equally. So that was, so I'm sure like a lot of girls growing up, whenever a lot of moms were more single, they're just doing their own thing. And that was the stages of becoming independent as women. And I'm sure that's why a lot of more girls are much more able to come out about that stuff, because now we have a chance to come out and do our own thing. And then we get a lot of views because there's not a lot of women out there. So once we find out that we can make money on it, and then we get more confident in ourselves, boom. You're a happy girl gamer.
That's awesome. And I'm really happy more women are getting into gaming, coming out as gamers, because I mean it's changing the industry. And I think that's a great thing. We need more people gaming. I think I'd rather have more women gaming than, not gaming, because it's such a fun pastime to me.
It's so much more fun for me to talk to other girls about video games.
Mhm.
Because I don't get to meet a lot of girls that are like, oh my God, I know what you're talking about. Like, I love that game, or I love this character, or oh my God, he was so hot too, or she was so hot. Like, it's so much more fun for me to be able to talk to a girl because I don't get to experience that very often. What does suck is like there are girls out there where they want to be
Mhm.
able to relate to guys to
Mhm.
pick them up, where they learn like a little about video games, but they don't know anything about the game. They it's more like they YouTube the video game and what it's about, and they learn just to like impress someone than anything.
Mhm.
So that's what I actually a lot of times I'll run into is like girls that really don't know anything about video games.
Mhm.
And for me, it's like I know a lot more about video games than I know about tech, and
Mhm.
I know a pretty decent amount about tech. But I'm not too tech savvy whenever it comes to streaming things. People are like, "Oh, like this type of camera with this type of cord and this computer and like this monitor," and I'm like, "I have no idea what you're talking about." Like, if you want to talk console and, the background of the consoles and
Mhm.
the actual differences between them, and then also the actual games themselves,
Mhm.
then we can have a full-on conversation. But if you're going to talk to me about actually like having a setup, I have no idea. Like, I am tech savvy whenever it comes to like editing things,
Mhm.
like photos and videos. That's really about it. But if you're going to talk to me about like setups for gaming, I have no idea. I know a little bit. I'm like, I know what the things you need. I don't brand names. I don't know differences. They're like, the H5000 monitor makes your speed go faster. And I'm like, but internet does that too. Like, I don't know.
Oh man, I've run into that too. Like, I run into people that are super good. A lot of people think I'm very tech savvy. I'm not. I'm really not. Like, I know people that build computers, and they're like, "Well, why are you spending $1,000 on this desktop, or when you could just build it? You just need this HK 5300 twice removed motherboard." And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm like, yeah, that's why whenever I look at other people's setups, like on Twitch, this is actually
Hmm.
what scared me away from Twitch, was because I would watch other people's rooms
Hmm.
and their streams, and I'm like, they have a fucking backdrop, they got heavy ass microphones, they got nice ass computers, nice ass consoles, like everything, they got shit like done to the max. And I'm over here on my PlayStation with my PlayStation camera and in my living room. Like, I'm like, this is what you're getting right now. You're here for my personality, not my setup. That's pretty much like all I have.
But the amazing thing is, it's for a lot of that stuff, like the computers and whatnot, and the backdrops. These companies, if you just reach out to them, they'll send it. Like my desktop now that I have, I reached out to the company I Buy Power. I was like, "Hey, I'd like to review one of your desktops," not expecting them to ever get back to me. And they emailed me saying, "Hey, what's your address?" I gave my address, and then 2 weeks later, boom, spec'd out computer. I'm like, holy shit. Because it's like these companies, for them, it's cheaper for them to send you something and you be their mobile marketing than to pay a marketing company.
Oh,
So,
that's true. Yeah.
so
Yeah,
hey,
I should totally just DM people and be like, I'm doing this. You should send it to me for free. I'll review it.
right?
I'm like, I wish I could do that with food.
Hey, there's a way.
Oh my
There's a
god,
way.
I could totally do it. Food porn.
All right, so I guess winding down to the last two questions. What are some of the things you like to do in your free time for fun, relaxation, or recreation?
Okay. this is something I struggle with because I don't get a lot of this time to myself.
Mm-hmm.
But whenever I do get time to myself, I really like to just relax and listen to music, or I'll watch a nice TV show.
Mm-hmm.
Or like I'll go out to like a sushi place to eat because I love sushi.
Mm-hmm.
And I love Italian food as well. So like my typical day, if I were to go out and just have fun,
Mm-hmm.
I always do like a nice hangout sesh, maybe have a couple drinks, um and just like kind of hang out with some friends. Like it's I'm not too crazy. Like I don't like to go out and party or do crazy shit. But I'm pretty laid back. Like I'm a super laid back person. I like to just hang out with my cats.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. And I guess what advice would you give to someone who would want to get into the industry?
Okay, so if you're trying to get into the industry, first off, do your research on different agents, because even though I was talking a little bit of shit earlier on agents, they are still well worth it in the beginning of whenever you get started. Especially for males, or like for a female, get an agent, do the research on each agency, look into like how they are as people, how they run their stuff, but don't just talk to one. Like I would recommend do like a couple interviews. Like I would do 3 to 4. Like interview all agencies if you could. Find the one that's most convenient for you, the one that respects you the most, the one that says, that's going to make sure that you get what you want out of that, out of this industry.
Mm-hmm.
And you stick to them for about, the time period of your contract, which is about a year or 2.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm coming up on my 2nd year with my agency.
Mm-hmm.
So stick with them to the beginning, but if you have problems with them, you can always switch. What agencies do is they'll buy out from each other your contract,
Mm-hmm.
and then you just pay your agent back over time. So you just do that. And then so make sure that I want to make sure also that you are mentally and physically happy and healthy. You need to make sure that you are happy with your body, you are mentally stable, and you involve yourself with the right people.
Mm-hmm.
Also, having a car is very accessible. Make sure you just have transportation.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest thing is wardrobe. A lot with us, we need to make sure that you have a lot of really kind of slutty looking clothes, or even conservative clothes, because like for men, it's basic as fuck. But for women, make sure you have good wardrobe styles, you have a good taste in wardrobe, and have a good variety of shoes and clothes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
This is just what to expect, but to get into it, Google the agents, do the research, do the interviews, learn the ways of why you want to be in this industry, how you're going to do, because a lot of times people will try to intimidate you. They're like, well, why should I accept you? And you're just like, because you make money. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's like going to a job interview, almost, like, is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Be on your best behavior, honestly. Like, this is a job. We take our job seriously. Whenever we go to work, we work and we want to have fun. That's what we try to do. So if you're going to show up to work and on set with a bad mood, you're going to ruin everyone else's day. If you're not going to show up, if you can't show up to work on time and happy and healthy and tested, and you're going to make everyone else's day easier, just don't go to work. Because I understand, like, the paychecks look amazing and you're just like, oh my god, what? But I promise you, it's not worth it if it's going to take a toll on you.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's all I have to say.
All right. And are there any upcoming projects that you're working on that you'd like to or are able to speak on? And when are you coming to Hawaii?
What am I going to Hawaii? So like I said, I just have a couple scenes coming out. I can't remember what companies they're for, but I do remember the cuckold one. I have, let me see. I'm trying to think. I really am doing nothing too crazy. Oh my god, how can I forget this? So BDSM has been one of the biggest things I've been wanting to do.
Mm-hmm.
since I got in porn. So I recently just did the cuckold thing, and I just did my first trans scene. So I'm really excited for that to come out as well. It's with Kink. So keep an eye out with Kink for my first trans scene. It was a lot of fun. I worked with Caitlin. I think it's Caitlin Cox or Katie Cox. But I worked with her, and she was amazing, and she's super gorgeous. So we had a lot of fun doing that scene, and both these scenes were very organic vibes. So, like I said, there's nothing that's super dialogued. That we had a lot of fun. It was super organic. Most of it was improv. So we just had a lot of fun with these scenes. Those are the two most recent scenes that I can tell you guys that I did. And then outside of my personal life, I'm really not doing anything too crazy, although I am going to a hentai con the beginning of November. It's the 2nd through the 4th. I would love to see you guys there. I'll be cosplaying for VR.com, or I can't remember the website, but I'll be there, and I'll be there in support for the website I'm with. And then I'll be dressed as Bowsette for the first day. So if you see me there, come up, say hi, take a couple pictures, check out the product.
Bowsette.
Yes, I'm super excited for this cosplay. I don't get to do a lot of cosplay. And then I'm also coming out with the clothing line. I'm trying to do before AVN, which AVN is the 24th through the 27th in Vegas at the Hard Rock Hotel. So get your tickets now because they sell out really fast. And then I'll see you guys there, and I hope to get my clothing line done by then.
Awesome. Hey, yeah. I've got a clothing line I'm rebooting because a lot of people like the shirts and tank tops and sweaters that I have put out over the last year. I've got to have you model it. I have to talk to you offline about fees. But
ooh, yeah, I would love to model. I love modeling clothes.
Awesome. Well, I guess my last question is, did you have fun?
I love this. Yeah, podcasts are usually like for me, I don't do a lot of them because I like to get paid for stuff, but recently it's been because I've got other jobs. I'm more focused on just educating people on the industry than the actual money. But it was fun. I really enjoyed it.
Awesome. Well, where can people find you? I know we went over it to start the show, but we may have a different group of people listening at this point. So.
Yeah, of course. So you can find me on Twitter and on Instagram, both Amilia Onyx. And that's pretty much it. And I also have my social links on my Twitter to any websites that I have. I mainly just have an OnlyFans, and I promote that the most.
Okay. And folks, if you're watching, if you're listening, the links for all of her links are down in the description of this video and this podcast below. So make sure you go over, you follow her on her social media and also on her website. And with that being said, it has been a true honor to have you on the show, Amilia.
Thank you so much. I had a great time, and I hope to be back on again.
Definitely. We're definitely going to have you on. The audience loved having you on. I enjoyed having you on. And I mean, I've been talking your ear off for the last 2 hours. The time just really flew.
It goes. Yeah, it does whenever you're having fun.
Like, folks, if you guys didn't know, we were actually chopping it up before we even went live. And we were like, hey, we need to
Yeah, like by the time it hit 7, I was like, you think we should get on?
But yeah, you guys will be able to find this on multiple outlets, of course, here on YouTube, but you'll also be able to find this on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, as well as Google Play Music. And soon, since we've signed the contract, we will be on XM Radio as well as Sirius FM. So that's going to be awesome, as well as iHeartRadio. So with that being said, we're going to wrap this up. Again, make sure you follow Amilia on her social media links, as well as her website. All that's going to be in the description below. And again, this is the Kasanova Podcast, Hawaii's #1 podcast. And I'm your host, Mekel Kasanova, and we are signing out. Have a good one.
Bye, guys.